Namaste, respected director sir, and all the dignitaries live with us. Happy to share some of my research activity with you all. Today, we will discuss the characteristics of rainfall data sets from satellites and exploring their role in studying rainfall-induced landslide over India. This is myself, Manoj Kumar Thakur from Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu. So, here the main purpose, the sorry. The main purpose of this presentation is to call attention to a revolution occurring in satellite rainfall estimation as well as ground-based high-resolution rainfall products. I mean through the revolution, although the remote sensing started in 1960, but the first precipitation mission launched in 1997 in the precipitation measurement mission through TRMM. And after that, the next generation of TRMM is GPM. So here, as a satellite rainfall data products, we have used TRMM product and GPM product. Roughly or briefly, the main aim underlying the current effort is to better understand one of the key element in Earth system, that is the rainfall. Why rainfall? Because water is fundamental to life on our planet, affecting behavior of the weather, climate. As it moves through the water cycle, rainfall became the key components of the Earth water cycle. We know that about 3/4 of the atmospheric energy is coming through the latent heat release in the form of precipitation over the tropics area. So, study of rainfall, its characteristics is very much essential to understand the whole precipitation product, the whole atmospheric circulation, and the hydrological cycle of the Earth. So, in first part, as we are using the satellite rainfall data sets, so we have tried to understand the performance of integrated multi-satellite retrieval of rainfall, that is known as the IMERG, over Indian landmass, because India, due to its complex topography and geography, is proved to be a very good test bed for the multi-satellite precipitation analysis. In the next step, we have tried to see the challenges. What are the challenges associated with the satellite estimated rainfall? We know that, or the studies had shown that satellite has the severe limitations over the terrain region, over the mountainous areas due to its sensors, because main part of the multi-satellite precipitation is from the IR sensor, that is known as the infrared sensor. The next one, another sensor on the satellite on board is microwave sensor. It has the properties to deep or to penetrate inside the cloud, but over the mountainous region like the Western Ghats of India, the orographic rainfall has the major contribution, or orographic rainfall is one of the part of there, and the orographic rainfall is not due to the much ice aloft present in the there. They show that microwave analysis is also not able to capture the things. Furthermore, the active precipitation radar is loaded over that, and active precipitation radar are generally loaded on the LEO, low Earth orbit, that has the very few sampling, 1 or 2 samples over the globe in a day. So due to these reasons, satellite is unable to distinguish the raining cloud and non-raining cloud over the mountainous region or over the terrain region. So we have tried to address the challenges here over the Western Ghats of India. Why? Because this satellite rainfall must be used for the landslide study, for the hydrological hazard study, for the flood study. In the mountainous region, ground-based rainfall measuring system, whether it is in the form of rain gauge or in the form of radar, is very limited. Its operational or its quality product is very limited. That's why satellite may prove as a potential data provider for the study of these hydrological landscapes. So why we need satellite estimated rainfall? In order to understand the precipitation process. Amount of precipitation is not sufficient We need to know where, how much, and when it rains. For this, this rain gauge is only sufficient to tell through the point area how much rain it come. Radars, it is have the special spatio-temporal resolution, unique type of its own reliability, but it is very costly. It is data is very not throughout the mountainous areas. So we have left with the satellite rainfall, which is giving uninterrupted continuous rainfall round the globe around the clock. That's why here we are taking the satellite rainfall to study the precipitation processes. So why measuring rain from space? As I told, it is from the Tropical Rainfall Measuring Mission. First, it is launched in 1997, and TRMM being a non-polar, low inclination orbit, it is inclined at an angle of 35, and later it moved to 40 degree to cover the tropics of the globe. These are some sensors and their swath. We are seeing here the main swath of this thing is 678 kilometer, and it is at the height of some 403 kilometer. The detailed study one can see through the NASA websites or through the Tropical Rainfall Measuring Missions. Here we are taking the final product only. The measuring, the another part of the measuring rain from space is the next generation of this TRMM is Global Precipitation Mission product, which is the enhanced version of TRMM, as its inclination changed from 35 degree to 65 degree to cover more area or to cover the larger area than that of TRMM. Additionally, instead of single precipitation radar that is of its first kind in TRMM, GPM has the dual precipitation radar to better estimate the light precipitation. And the microwave frequency, we have added the two additional high frequency 183.3 gigahertz and 165.5 gigahertz to sense the light as well as the snow, or we can tell it as the solid precipitation over the near the polar region. So first thing, what data sets we have used? As I have discussed, the IR data sets, these are continuous, but it is taking the rainfall only from the cloud top. The microwave MERS data set, it can penetrate through it, but it has their own limitations. So we have the TRMM multi-satellite precipitation analysis data set. It is the merged product of infrared, microwave, radar, as well as the ground-based. And the similar from the GPM is GPM IMERG, which is IMERG here stands for Integrated Multi-Satellite Retrieval of the GPM. So, and their spatial temporal scale and a spatial scale, the TRMM is at 0.25 degree, the IMERG is available at 0.1 degree, and it is the TRMM is available at 3 hourly, whereas GPM is available at half hourly. These things are there. For our analysis or for the validation purpose, we have put both the data sets along with the IMD4. IMD4, it stands for daily 0.25 degree into 0.25 degree data sets. We have kept all the data sets at equal spatio-temporal footing. The other atmospheric parameters like temperature, pressure, humidity, the wind speed, we have taken from the NOAA, because it is necessary to study the whole atmosphere when we try to deal with the rainfall. Further, Indian summer monsoon is teleconnected with many other oceanic circulations. One of them is median Julian oscillations, that we have the median Julian oscillation, real-time multivariate function 1 and 2 we have also studied during the research phase. The next one, for the as a ground based or as a benchmark, we have used the IMD data sets. IMD providing the rainfall data sets since last 130 years. And here it is worthy to note that the recent IMD4 data sets have been developed by using almost 7,000 rain gauges, which are shown here in this figure. And in a day minimum at least 3000 gauges were used. All possible quality controls have been taken care to develop these data sets, and it is the most reliable data sets over the Indian landmass. So as a benchmark, we have used these data sets to study the performance of satellite rainfall over Indian landmass. Here, the two figures, figure A and figure B, is showing the spatial distribution of rainfall over India. The spatial distribution, here we can see that the large scale features of Indian summer monsoon is like the heavy rainfall over the Western Ghat, it is through the IMD. The similar pattern is obtained through the IMERG. Heavy rainfall in the northeast region, in the IMERG also. The low rainfall region, that is in northwest area or southeast area, it is depicting in satellite rainfall as it is depicted in IMD rainfall. So here we can say that satellite rainfall is able to capture the preponderant features of rainfall or Indian summer monsoon rainfall. Further, to study it at the grid level, we have used the categorical matrix in the form of probability of detection, false alarm ratio, frequency bias index, and Pierce skill score. Our test result revealed that the high value of probability of detection, the very low value of false alarm ratio, and high value of frequency bias index, and relatively high value of this PSS shows that IMERG or the satellite rainfall is able to depict the Indian summer monsoon rainfall reliably over the Indian landmass. For the grid level study, in different regions, as I have told, India has the different geographic conditions. So we have taken the 4 region in the form of 5 degree box, and we have made the probability density function analysis. Here the probability density function analysis, we have used here the 3 rainfall data sets. One IMD, taken from the IMD. Second one IMERG, that is the satellite rainfall data set at its native resolution of 10 kilometer 10 kilometer, and this to compare with the IMD as we have regraded it to from 0.1 to 0.25 degree. These products are also here. Here the higher value of probability density function in all the region 1, 2, 3 and 4 reveal that there is a higher probability of occurrence of rainfall in IMD. But when we come to the higher rainfall region, we see here the 10, or in this region where the rainfall per day rain rate is higher, the same IMD is showing the less value. The broad peaks in region 2 and region 4 is resembling with the IMD data sets. So it shows that in region 2 and region 4, this IMERG, the association between IMERG and IMD is better than in region 1 and region 2 in the form of probability of occurrence. So we can say that IMERG is a potential product in all the regions of India to use for the study of the hydrological cycle or Indian summer monsoon rainfall over the Indian landmass. First, the main idea is here how it is changing. So a spatial assessment of satellite based precipitation we have made starting in the summer monsoon core region of India. Let's see, this point denotes in the monsoon core region, and we have made here 1 degree, 3 degree, 5 degree to 7 degree to maximum possible 9 degree box. And each box we have taken what is the association between these two rainfall data sets. One is satellite and other one from the IMD rainfall. Here to study this, we have used the 19 years of the satellite based precipitation, and we are observing here as the grid size is increasing, obviously the correlation is increasing, but our analysis has revealed here bias. When we come from 5 degree to 7 degree, bias increases between the two data sets. It may be due to the inclusion of mountainous area into our study region, because the past study has showed even a small hilly region or even a small mountains, it will change the precipitation pattern over a region. So based on this, how it is changing over the mountainous area. So we have noted that many types of the rainfall. Generally, we are seeing the convective rainfall or the orographic rainfall. What is the orographic rainfall? The orographic rainfall is the when the moist air is coming and it is lifting upward and some barrier is there. So if this barrier make them to precipitate here itself. So this rainfall is known as orographic rainfall. Although mountains are not enough efficient to remove the moisture, but it can change the pattern, depend upon its barrier, depends upon its size and alignment. Why there is a problem here? As I have discussed, over the mountainous area, the rainfall, reliable measurement of the rainfall is, let's see this rain gauges. These two rain gauges or these rain gauges are very much nearby, but this side is known as the lee side and this side is the windward side and lee side. So the in rain shadow side there is very less rain. Here it is very high amount of rain. So these two rain gauges are nearby, although the rain amount is very much different. So we have to go through the another ground based system is the radar. So if radar is there, the signal can block, it cannot move through this mountainous. So radar is also not possible to keep nearby in the mountainous areas. So we have the alternate source in the form of satellite. But satellite, due to its own sensor, repeatedly I am telling, due to its own sensor incapability, it is unable or it is inefficient to produce the reliable rainfall over these mountainous region. So first, we have here made a quantitative analysis of rainfall over the Western Ghat of India in contrast to flat region. So for the flat region, we have taken the elevation less than 500 meter in the Indo-Gangetic plain, or over the Western Ghat, we have chosen only the area where the elevation is greater than 500 meter. So over the all India level, see in panel A here, over the all India level, satellite rainfall, which is 19 years of satellite rainfall is here we have used. So it is overestimating. Let's come to the Western Ghats of India in this panel B. Other studies have also reported on the monthly scale or on seasonal scale, satellite is underestimating. But here we have analyzed the daily scale because these TRMM or GPM products are known as the state-of-the-art data sets. It is the most reliable rainfall, remotely sensed rainfall product. So what is its efficiency in the daily scale? Here we have analyzed that when the rainfall amount is high, it means 8 millimeter per day or higher than that, here satellite is underestimating. During the peak monsoon days, it is coming hand to hand, but another cycle here we are also seeing it is underestimating the rainfall. In contrast to that, over the flat region of we are seeing satellite retrieved rainfall or satellite based rainfall are overestimating the rainfall. So here it is clear that the behavior of the satellite to estimate the rainfall over the Western Ghat region or over the flat region is different. So to find out this, what are the things that may affect this? So we have first tried to see the oscillations, the intra-seasonal oscillations present in Indian summer monsoon rainfall. And to find out the intra-seasonal oscillation present in this, we have taken the two rainfall data series, one from IMD and another from the satellite, and we have subjected it to Lomb-Escargel periodogram. The Lomb-Escargel periodogram is able us to find the periodicity present in the data series. Both IMD and satellite is able to pick here the one of the preponderant intra-seasonal oscillation present in Indian summer monsoon, that is known as the median Julian oscillation, having periodicity 30 to 60 days. Here we can see in all three regions, over the all India, over the Western Ghat, over the flat region, there is a peak the normalized power, there is a peak is observed between 30 to 60 days. So what is the median Julian oscillation? It is the northward propagating circulation. We can see in this figure, this median Julian oscillation. I have shown the median Julian index, which is calculated by use of RMM1 and RMM2. This is the unit circle. When it is coming inside it, it is known as the weak median Julian index. When it is outside the circle, it is known as the strong median Julian index. Here, both the data sets are able to pick that. Let's come to the quasi biweekly oscillation. That means that when the periodicity is less than 20 degree. This is for the flat region. This is for the Western Ghat region. So we are seeing here the IMD and the satellite. This green color is from IMD and this brick color is for the IMD and this green color is for the satellite. We are seeing the different behavior over the flat region and over the Western Ghat of India. So this oscillations also plays a major role in amount of rainfall or the pattern of precipitation over the India. Here we have our main idea is to how to use this satellite precipitation over the mountainous region more reliably, because previous study has shown that over the mountainous it is facing the severe limitations. So we have made some criteria to choose this rainfall. So let me explain the criteria, and I need your more attention here. We know that MJO, median Julian oscillations, can change the pattern of rainfall over the Indian landmass, particularly when it is in phase 2 and 3. Phase 2 and 3 means it is in Indian Ocean. So when it is in Indian Ocean, that time we have taken the median Julian index in two form, whether median Julian index is greater than 1 or median Julian index is less than 1. Let's first focus the median Julian index less than 1. So when median Julian index is less than 1, we have chosen those days out of every year 122 days of the Indian summer monsoon days. We have found those days when the MJO is in Indian Ocean and their index is less than 1. And we have taken the association between these two data sets over the flat region and over the Western Ghat of India, and we observed the improved association over the Western Ghat than that of the flat region. Similar analysis we have made when the MJO is greater than 1. It means again the criteria will remain same. The median Julian oscillation is in Indian Ocean and median Julian index is greater than 1, that is as in the strong median Julian oscillations. Here also improved association between the two rainfall data sets are observed, although the coefficient of determination when MJO is greater than 1 is approximately 50%, and this is not sufficient to use it for the applications. Almost 50% coefficient of determination is observed here. Further, we have shifted to see what are the changes if we see the quasi biweekly oscillation, TEJ. It is known as the tropical easterly jet. It is the part of general circulation of upper troposphere which produces rain waste on its acceleration over Indian subcontinent. Being large scale circulation pattern, it interacts with the orographic features over the Western Ghat and modify the rainfall pattern. That's why we have chosen the other parameter, the tropical easterly jet, which is calculated using the wind speed at 200 MB, and we have first made the climatology of the tropical easterly jet, or you may say in other words wind speed at 200 MB, and taken only those days when TEJ is greater than climatology. One question arises here, why the TEJ should be taken greater than climatology? Because TEJ greater than climatology remains the strong value of TEJ. A strong value of TEJ corresponds to wet activity, good monsoon activity. A strong TEJ also allows horizontal expansion of cloud, which favors the IR sensing, and we know that in satellite the mostly part of the retrieval is taken products. That's why we have chosen the TEJ, and it has the periodicity of about 14 to 15 days periodicity. So it is affecting the rainfall pattern over the Western Ghats of India. Similar criteria we have taken over the Western Ghat as well as over the flat region of India. Out of 122 days, every year we have taken only those days when TEJ value is greater than its climatology value. On those days, every day we have made the seasonal rainfall mean and found the association between these two data sets. And again, Western Ghat, when we took only the large scale feature, the median Julian index, the correlation between two data sets are merely 0.61. But as we choose the TEJ, we have taken into consideration the correlation between two data sets is much higher. It is reaching about 0.73. So another parameters we have chosen, and that parameter is known as the moist static stability. It has also the periodicity of 14 to 15 days, and in low periodicity also it is exhibiting from 2 to 6 days. So MSS, moist static stability, is the negative potential gradient of moist static energy. So it is important for the development of precipitation. It represents mean atmospheric conditional instability. Higher value of moist static stability can change the rainfall pattern over the given area. Hence, we have calculated the moist static stability using the formula given here, and the components are written over here. So this moist static stability, we have made the climatology of the moist static stability over the flat region as well as over the Western Ghat of India, and chooses only those days when this MSS is greater than its climatology value. On those days, if we are checking the association between these two data sets, over the Western Ghat, it is as high as 0.90 in contrast to flat region where it is very low. So this story is for the rainfall amount. And when we put our criteria MSS greater than climatology, we reach the coefficient of determination value almost 80%. So in next step, we have tried to see what are the spatial association between these two data sets. To see the spatial association between two data sets over the Western Ghat of India based on these criteria for the 19 year, we can see here, we have taken here all 122 days average for the 19 years. We can see the weak association between the two data sets over the Western Ghat. But as soon as we are keeping our criteria MSS greater than climatology, the increase in correlation is observed here. Similarly, for TEJ greater than climatology, increase in association between the two data sets are seen here. The common questions will arise here. This is highly averaged data, so the fluctuation may smoothen out. For the this purpose, here I am showing the 2 years, two individuals here, 2012 and 2007. For the 2012, here there is a 1 year, all days, 122 days of the southwest monsoon season. We can see the very low association between the two data sets. But if we put the criteria MSS greater than climatology, increase in the association between two data sets are observed here. Not over this region, the whole Western Ghat region is showing the increase in association. Similarly, for the 2007, here we have shown when we apply the criteria tropical easterly jet greater than climatology without any criteria for the 122 jet, and only for those days when TEJ greater than climatology, the increased in association between these two data sets are seen. So here we are seeing both spatial correlation is increasing as well as the temporal correlation is increasing. Here we want to show in each region when the correlation is between 0.31 to 50 or 51 to 70 or 71 to 91. Here this line, this brick color line is for the all days. We are seeing it is always below when we put our criteria TEJ greater than climatology or MSS greater than climatology. So these criteria, that is the TEJ greater than climatology TEJ or MSS greater than climatology TEJ. When we choose only these days Out of the 122 days, better association between the ground measurement rainfall and the satellite based precipitation is observed here. Finally, why we want to the better estimation over the Western Ghat or over the mountainous region or over the hilly regions? Because these regions are prone to floods. These regions are prone to landslides. These regions are getting highly populated day by day, and over these regions, the rainfall measuring instrument, ground rainfall measuring instruments are sparse. So we have to choose the days when this, at least the good estimation or reliable estimation is there, not for the whole season, for few days. On these days only, active days only, we are seeing the floods or the landslides. Here I want to show you the landslides, how we can monitor using this criteria and this satellite rainfall, the landslides. Here I am showing the 4 regions, region 1, region 2, region 3 and region 4 based on the lithology of the India. Fortunately, I can say here the Western Ghat of India lithology and the Nepal lithology is same. So my study over the Western Ghats of India future, I am showing it will work for the Nepal also. Here we can see that from 2007 to 15, we have taken some large landslide happened, large or very large landslide happened over the Western Ghat due to the rainfall, that is rainfall induced landslide. So out of some 300-400 of landslide, these are the large or very large landslide occurred over the Western Ghats of India only. Out of these, we have chosen 3 landslides marked here in red, one in the GPM era and another one in the TRMM era. So these two in 3 September 9 and 12 August 8 is in the GPM TRMM era, and 30 July 14 is in the GPM era. So here our motto is to show in TRMM we have the 3 hours of precipitation. We are getting precipitation product at every 3 hours, and this figure shows the spatial pattern of the rainfall around the landslide occurrence site. We are seeing here high rainfall per hour. It is approximately, in this case we are seeing the 15 millimeter, almost here it is showing greater than 5 or 8 millimeter per hour. Here also the same things. So it is every 3 hour rain rate is changing. So it is not allowing the policy makers for the immediate response. What is the benefit after the arrival of GPM? GPM is providing the rainfall in every half an hour. So for a case study, we have used the Malin landslide here. We can see here, this is the early rainfall product which is available just after the 4 hour of the scan or observation, and this is the final. Happily we can see here the pattern of the both early and final rainfall product is same, and this is the timing, exactly time opened by the Malin landslide, where landslide occurs 6:30. The peak is observed, and every half an hour we can watch the increase in rain rate. So increasing rain rate over the landslide prone areas may be taken as a alarm, or this 30-minute rainfall interval product can be taken as the immediate response over the regions. Next, we can diagnose the region where it is more alarming. For that, we have taken the 5 days rainfall analysis. The cumulative rainfall we are seeing, it is increasing on the both the three all the 3 landslides regions here in GPM era, whether it is in we have used the TRMM rainfall or the GPM rainfall. In all cases, the cumulative rainfall is increasing. So our point is here, if the cumulative rainfall is there, it is increasing, and the half-hourly rainfall is showing the increase in rain rate every 30 minutes. It may be useful to run the model which can give us the forecast about that area. Here we have run the model, the WRF model for these 3 landslide event at the 9 kilometer resolution, using the schemes used by the operational agencies of India like IMD, and we can see here This product is from IMD, this is from IMERG, this is from real time, and this is the finer, and this is the WRF model rainfall. We can see here almost it is not the exactly picking, but the pattern of rainfall in WRF is we can see here. So this rainfall pattern, if we input these rainfall data sets as an input into WRF model, the increased rain rate or 5 days or 10 days or 30 days based on the lithology or based on the landslide sites, we can make one alarm or we can make one response, hazard management response to the for the people to save their life and properties. We see here in the whole study, we can conclude in this way: IMERG is a potential satellite product having ability to depict the dynamic spatio-temporal variability associated with Indian summer monsoon rainfall. Satellite-based precipitation product has capability to peak intra-seasonal oscillation. Although satellite-based precipitation have severe limitation over complex terrain, but its careful selection yields satisfactory association with ground-based measurement of rainfall over the Western Ghat or the terrain part of the India. In the 4 landslide-prone region, India rainfall is the key trigger, and high resolution IMERG real time or the near early time along with the ARW WRF simulated rainfall can be used to monitor the and manage the risk of landslides and other hydrological hazards induced during the summer monsoon season. And thank you for your attention. Namaste. Be safe in this situation. Thank you.